Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled, Who Sold Joseph into Slavery? His brethren or the Midianites? This video was inspired by GMS Through the Fire, and he did a video entitled, Did Joseph's Brothers Sell Him into Slavery? And the answer to this question is no. Genesis 45:1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, do my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Keep this in mind. Now let's go back to this account. Genesis 37:18. And when they, referring to his brethren, saw him, referring to Joseph, afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Verse 19. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer come. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand on him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father. Again, brief summary. The brethren conspired to kill or to murder Joseph. Reuben intervened and said, Hey, let's not kill him, but place him inside a pit located in the wilderness. Now, Reuben's game plan was to prevent the brethren from killing from murdering Joseph, and to return Joseph back to their father. Verse 23. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? So this shows you that Judah and the brethren understood the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, and most importantly, the consequences, or an equal importance. Salakia for that. Verse 27. Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be on him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Verse 28. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, And they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt, who then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen. They drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned into the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes, meaning what? He was worried. He started mourning. He did not know what had happened to Joseph. Verse 30, and he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go? Meaning, where the hell is he? Where else can I go? The last time we saw him, or I left him, he was inside of this pit. And when I returned, he is no longer there. Where is he? Okay. So, what's going on now? You had, or within the second summary, Judah lost my train of thoughts, like it. Anyway, you had the bros eating. They saw a company of Ishmaelites, and Judah intervened and said, what? Hey, let's sell him to these Ishmaelites. And the brethren agreed. Okay, they agreed to this ideal. And in verse 28, the Most High had an X factor. The Midianites, merchantmen, and they saw Joseph in the pit, and they drew and lifted him up, and they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and the Ishmaelites took him into Egypt. And this happened before Reuben returned to the pit. So by the time Reuben made it back to the pit, Joseph was gone. Genesis, the 37th chapter, proves that Joseph's brethren did not sell him into slavery. It was the Midianites that sold him to the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites took Joseph into Egypt. When you go back to Genesis 45 and verse 4, and Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Meaning what? You go back to Genesis 37 and 24, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. The reason why Joseph was inside of this pit, located in the wilderness, is because the brethren placed him there. Okay. It was their fault. They're the reason. It was their game plan to sell him as well to the Ishmaelites. But the X factor of the Most High, which are the Midianites, intervened, and they retrieved Joseph and sold him to the Ishmaelites. And the Ishmaelites took him to Egypt. Although the brethren wanted to sell him into slavery to prevent from killing him. Okay, Lord, will you edify? Shalom.